Okay. Okay, so let's begin here. So let's start the purport. Okay, Bhakti Mala, do you want to start that?
So, sorry, are you going to come back to the 4 different types of rascals, miscreants? Remember,
Yeah.
before you closed off, you said there's 4 sorts of miscreants, and then you went.
Yeah. So mentioned in the translation, and it's going to be discussed a lot because it's a big purport, so it's going to be discussed piece by piece in the purport. But just to categorize, okay, so the miscreants means, like bad behavior, means they have good potential, because every human being has good potential. As we talked about a couple of weeks ago, that because we have a lot of intelligence, and a human body means you have higher intelligence than what the animals and the birds and the beasts have potentially. Whether you use it or not is another thing. So we have some very good credit, good merit, which is a good intelligence, but unfortunately, people may misuse that intelligence and do bad things with it. So of these human beings that have misused their good intelligence and become rascals, so here Krishna is putting them in 4 different categories. So one category of rascal or miscreant is a fool, which is mudha in Sanskrit. So the foolish mudha. Another category of rascal is the Naradhama, which means the lowest of mankind. Lowest of man.
Can you explain that, like someone like a murderer or that sort of
lower? Not necessarily. Lowest of man means, human being is meant to develop self-realization, God consciousness, right? So the lowest of human being is one who doesn't do that. So they don't use their human form of life for self-realization, for God realization. They use it just for animalistic things, for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, right? So that's what it means, the lowest of man. It doesn't necessarily mean they're a murderer or something, that's the lowest of man. It could be. But it means that then they have no interest and no efforts in self-realization, God realization at all. Just eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Of course, they may. Of course, if you're not a spiritual seeker, there is a good chance you end up going down that path: sex, drugs, rock and roll, and end up killing people and all kinds of things. So that may, of course, be happening like that. Because you have to do something, right? So if you're not going to chant Hare Krishna, and pray to God and everything, then what are you going to do? You're going to take drugs, have lots of sex, and if things don't go your way, you might end up killing people and all kinds of crazy things. So there is a good chance that those kind of behavior happens. But not necessarily, but it mainly means you're not using your human form of life for what it's meant for God realization. You're using it just for sense gratification. That's what lowest of man means. And then maya parita jnana. So that's a tongue twister. So jnana means knowledge, and parita means stolen. And stolen by maya, by illusion. So that's what that long phrase means. Maya paharta jnana. So it means a person whose knowledge, jnana, has been apaharta, stolen by maya. That's maya paharta jnana. So that means, once again, you have good knowledge, a good brain, but that knowledge is stolen by illusion. So here he is. Here's the man, Gulshan.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hey, Gulshan. So we just started discussing the verse we did a couple of weeks ago, 7th chapter, text 15.
7:15. Okay.
7:15. Yeah, we're just discussing the translation. We're going to begin the purport.
Okay.
The 4 categories. This is 4 categories of humans that don't surrender to God, don't surrender to Krishna. So, and the fourth one is the asura. Asura means demon. So this is the category where not only they're not interested in self-realization, God realization, but they are outwardly hateful of God. So it's not just the category where you're not thinking about God and you're not thinking about the soul or anything, but this is where you're outwardly manifesting hatred of God, and blaspheming, blaspheming God. I hate God, or there's no God, or everything like that. And if you mention the word God to such a person, they get very angry, get very angry. And this is also mentioned for a devotee should not preach to such people.
So, sorry,
Yeah.
can I just ask you a question to do with that? So,
Yeah.
what do you call the Nazi groups now? What do they call them? Neo-Nazis. They're not so much hateful of God, are they? They're more hateful of colour and race, aren't they? Am I right or wrong?
I mean, I don't know what their philosophy is now. And I think you'd have to take it a bit case by case, because I mean, some of them might believe in God and some of them might not. But yeah, I'm not absolutely sure what their basic principles are.
Okay.
Mm.
I can look it up.
Yeah. Yeah. But definitely those kind of gatherings are based on the bodily conception of life. Just like the original Nazis, it was all very external, very superficial. You had to have blonde hair and blue eyes, right? Blonde hair and blue eyes, and then you're an Aryan. They regarded you an Aryan race. Hitler was wanting to create the Aryan race, and those that had blonde hair and blue eyes, you had to fit into that. But that's just the body, that's nothing to do with the soul. What's special about having blonde hair and blue eyes? You could be just the worst of people and have blonde hair and blue eyes. It doesn't mean you're automatically become the best just because you've got blonde hair like that. So, of course, the Vedic culture used this word Aryan, that Hitler took the Vedic, the Sanskrit word from the Vedic culture. He took the word Aryan, which actually means one who knows the higher values of life. That's what Aryan originally meant. One who was pursuing the higher values of life, one who knew the higher value of life. And that's self-realization, to know that I'm a soul and Krishna is the supreme and I'm part of Krishna, and to do devotional service. That's originally what an Aryan meant. But Hitler has taken that word and perverted it to mean someone that's got blonde hair and blue eyes. Now, what the neo-Nazis, what they're into right now, I don't know. But yeah, it's bound to be something very mundane based on the body.
So how did you put it that when you know the true value
of human life? And the value of human life is to develop spiritual knowledge, because we have that higher intelligence. So, God has given the humans being higher intelligence. So what are we supposed to use that higher intelligence for? Not just creating, more tunnels and bridges and bigger skyscrapers and smaller mobiles and faster computers, but that higher intelligence and bigger bombs, to kill more people. But that higher intelligence is meant for getting out of the material world, ending our suffering and going back home, back to Godhead. So that's the real value. That's the real value, of the human life. We're going to how we can use it for the best purpose to get the best result. Everything has a value. you know, but what if you don't use the object, a very valuable object, for the purpose that it was designed for, then you're not really maximizing the benefit from it. You know, like say you get a $150,000 car. What do you call it when the roof comes back? Like, you used to have one of those.
Convertible?
Yeah.
Convertible, yeah. You get a $150,000 convertible, and I think, wow, that'd make a great pot for growing a plant in. So you fill it up with soil. You fill it up with soil and grow a gum tree in it. You know, so, but yeah, that's not using, you know, getting the best value out of it. You're not getting the best value. So in the same way, you know, human being, you're just using it for sense gratification, which is just very temporary enjoyment, and it's going to lock you into the cycle of birth and death, and you're going to continue suffering. But actually, you can get out of here in this human life. This could be the last birth. After this body, no more birth, and you get liberated. So that's the highest value of human life. If you come back again, it means you haven't utilized the real benefit of human life. So all these kind of groups, other than, if they're not God conscious, whether they're neo-Nazis or philanthropists or altruists or socialists or nationalists or any kind of ism, Prabhupada talked about the isms. So any kind of ism, you know, it's just based on bodily things. You know, whether it's pro-white or pro-black or pro-Christian or pro-Muslim or anything like that, but it's just based on the body, you know, so it's not getting the best value. Does that answer your question, Bob?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, let's start the purport. Gulshan, have you got the page there?
Yeah.
You can start the purport.
It is said in Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering oneself onto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality Krishna, one can surmount the stringent law of the material nature. At this point, a question arises: how it is the educated philosopher, scientist, businessman, administrator, and all the leaders of ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna, Sri Krishna, the all-powerful personality of Godhead. Mukti, or liberation from the law of material nature, is sought by the leader of mankind in different ways and with great plan and perseverance for a great many years and a birth. But if that liberation is possible by simply surrendering into the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hardworking leaders adopt this simple method?
Okay, we'll just stop there. Yeah. So this is following on from text 14, which has said that you can overcome the entanglement of the material world just by surrendering to God. So that was the statement there. You can overcome Maya, this world of illusion, just by, and get free from the material existence, just by surrendering to Krishna. Okay? So following on from that, then the natural question is, so why don't people surrender? If you can get the best thing just by surrendering to Krishna, so why don't people want to surrender to Krishna? So, and especially here, the question is raised that how is it that even the most educated people don't surrender to Krishna? Supposedly the most intelligent people, which are scientists and philosophers and like that, teachers, academics like that, why don't surrender to Krishna? You know, if they can get the best result, get free from, you know, material entanglement, and liberated from all suffering by surrendering to Krishna, why don't they do it if they're so intelligent? What's the answer?
Ignorance.
Yeah, the real thing is they're not actually intelligent, because if they were intelligent, they would surrender to Krishna, and get free from suffering. But they're not doing that, so that means that it seems like they're intelligent, right? Because they've occupied, very big positions. Like I said, they're scientists, philosophers, academics, everything like that. Seem like great scholars and things like that. But they haven't surrendered to Krishna, so that indicates they're actually ignorant. They're not real scientists, because a real scientist would surrender to God. And we have some examples of that. What are some examples of real philosophers and real scientists that did surrender to God?
Prabhupada.
Yeah, Prabhupada. Yeah, he's a spiritual scientist. But one that comes to the top of my head is Albert Einstein. So Einstein, he actually believed in God, and Sir Isaac Newton, he believed in God, like that. So,
Is that Albert Einstein? His name is mentioned in Bhagavatam as well.
He might be mentioned in some purports, but I think on the back of some Bhagavad Gitas, sometimes it would have a quote from him. A quote, not all of them, but I remember an older edition on the very back, on the back cover, on the outside. It used to have, I think Thoreau. I think it had a quote from Thoreau and Emerson. Yeah. Emerson, yeah.
Yep. Mahatma Gandhi.
Gandhi, okay, yeah. So Gandhi, and it's a quote from him on the Bhagavad Gita, and Emerson, Thoreau, and like that. So there were in the history, real philosophers and real scientists that actually had faith in God and were surrendered to God. But a lot are atheistic, and those ones that are atheistic, obviously, they're not really intelligent. They're posing as very intelligent, but they're not actually intelligent, and we know that because if they were intelligent, well, they'd surrender to God. The fact that they're not surrendered to God, that immediately you know that they're not intelligent. I mean, like we here, we might not have got degrees in university, or we might not have a master's degree or a PhD in anything. But, the fact that we've surrendered to God is a sign that there's some intelligence there. And those may have PhD, MBA and all this kind of thing, but they haven't surrendered to God as a sign that they're foolish, or in these other categories, lowest of man, knowledge is stolen by illusion. They're a demon, So that immediately we know they're one of those four categories, So if someone doesn't surrender to God, they're one of these four categories, and they're not very intelligent, even though they may pose as very intelligent. And
the Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leader of society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, and Kumaras, Manu, Vyasa, Devala, Asista, Janaka, Prahlada, Bali, and later on to Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya, and many others who are faithful philosophers, politician, educator, scientist, etc., surrendered to the lotus feet of Supreme Person, the all-powerful authorities, those who are not actually philosopher, scientist, educator, administrator, etc., but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan or path of Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plan and consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy, nature, is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plan of the atheist and baffle the knowledge of planning commissions.
Okay. So here is the example of those persons that are intelligent, that have surrendered to God, and They're the real philosophers, the real scholars, the real scientists. So there's a whole list of names here, which you'd be familiar with some of them. Like Lord Brahma, he's the first created being in the universe. He's the head of our succession as well. Lord Shiva, he's the destroyer of the universe. He's, married to the goddess of the material world that keeps everyone in illusion, Durga Parvati. He's fully aware of God and surrendered to God like that. So there's a whole list of personalities, and then some more recent ones mentioned here: Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Going back to within the last 1,000 years, like that. And so, if someone is surrendered to God, you know that then they're a perfect human being. They've got the real value out of their human life. And those that have accepted the position of philosophers and scientists, but they don't surrender to God, it's mentioned here why they're doing that, and Prabhupada's saying because of material gain. So why is someone in the position of a scientist or a philosopher like that if they're not really intelligent? It's simply because they get some profit, they get some material gain out of being a teacher or a scientist or a philosopher or an academic, whatever like that. Basically, to make money. They're just doing it to make money, but they're not actually interested in learning the truth or propagating the truth, teaching the truth. They're just cheaters. And it's mentioned that a human being can have 4 defects. Can you remember what the 4 defects are? That every conditioned soul has 4 defects. Does that ring a bell? Can you remember?
Make mistakes.
Make mistakes, yes, you're on the right track. Yep, one of them is to make mistakes.
Has pride come into it?
That's something different. That's not regarded as one of the 4 defects, but yeah, that's definitely there.
And not anger?
No, that's a different subject, different angle you're looking at. Here, one is make mistakes. One is that we're subject to illusion. That's the second one. And the third one is that we have imperfect senses. And the fourth one is a cheating propensity. So that's what I'm looking at here. So that's the cheating propensity, that you're posing as a very intelligent person that is going to teach something like that, teach some knowledge, give some knowledge, but you're just doing it to make money. You're not actually teaching the truth. Like what did I learn from my teachers and academics at school? That, everything started from a big bang. There's no God. It's just happened by chance. And then we evolved from monkeys like that, So this is what we were taught, that it's just all a bunch of chemicals. It's just matter. There's nothing other than matter. It's just chemicals. And it just came about by chance like that. It just everything in the universe just revolves around the male and female of the species getting together, having sex. And that's how everything goes on like that. There's no God in control and everything like that. So that's actually cheating. They're talking like that. They've actually cheated the ignorant masses.
So
yeah.
Sorry, can I just ask? One was mistakes, cheating, illusion.
Yep.
And you said one more.
Imperfect senses.
If Krishna creates a human, why would he create human with the defects? We are the old creation of Krishna. Why does he create with the defect? The question comes.
Yeah, because that defect is allowing us to fulfill our desire, which is that we want to forget God. So that's why all the defects are there, because we want to forget God, and God doesn't force us to love him, right? Because love has to be voluntary.
But
right?
Is that
So if we want to forget, why are all the souls are in the material world in the first place? We're only the souls that are here, that the ones that rebelled against God and wanted to forget God. So, yeah.
When the kid born, he does not have these 4 defects.
No, it's there. It's just not manifest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just in a seed form. Don't worry, it's gonna sprout up.
Okay.
It's gonna sprout, but it's there. I mean, you might think, the children are so innocent. Look, there's no lust, no anger.
Cheat or anything.
Don't worry. It's gonna come. It's just not manifest yet, but it's all there because they could have been Mad Max in their last life. But it's just, then they come out, they're a cute little baby, but that cute little baby is, has all the potential to become Mad Max. Because that's what he was in his last life.
They're born rascals.
Born rascals, yeah. But it just, they're all all the desires in that haven't been turned on, at the time of birth. So don't worry, at a certain time, it all gets, switched back on again. And God reminds them where they were in their last life, to carry on. They're picking up from where we left off in our last life. So at a certain point, then the anger will kick in from the last life, or the lust, or the greed, and the pride, and everything. Krishna will, in the heart, will just turn that on. I'll remember that, you're a very angry person, so Krishna reminds us, to how we are behaving according to where we were at in our last life. And it could be good things too. You automatically pick up very nice behavior, because in your last life, you had nice behavior and you were a spiritual seeker or whatever like that. And, so it goes both ways, but the good qualities and the bad qualities, they just carrying on from previous lives. So it's not like we're born all a blank slate, because that's what we're taught, right, by these fools and rascals, that everything starts off from this birth. But I'm sorry, it doesn't start from, we're not a blank slate, from birth. Of course, before all the stuff comes out from the last life, if you can reprogram the person, and that's why we want to have education, starting from as early as possible, 5 years or even before that, to reprogram the person before the Mad Max behavior comes out again, to reprogram them, to put good things in. So that's why, Gurukul was there. That from an early age, get them to chant Hare Krishna, get them to take prasad, get them to hear about God, hear about the soul, chant, dance, take prasadam, all these kind of things, to reprogram, reset their consciousness. So even if they were Mad Max before, that can be overwritten. You can overwrite that. You do that with computers, right? You can overwrite the program. So the program that's there, you can override it, put another program on it, and that replaces the previous one. So that's what we want to do. But it's not that all those cute little babies, they're all completely innocent and whatever like that, because in their last life, you don't know what they were doing. I mean, maybe they were a demigod in their last life. Very good. But what if they were a demon, So, but no one is completely a blank slate. It's highly unlikely. This is your first life in the material world. You never done anything in the material world before this life. That's not really going to be the case. We've all had previous lives, and it's all stored up. All that karma and all those desires from previous lives is all stored up. And when how it's all released and manifested again, that's up to the demigods and Krishna. When it's going to get released and all like that, that's up to them.
With the animal born with the 4 defects too, or not?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. They're subject to the illusion, right? Like they're under the illusion that I'm a dog, or I'm a pig, or I'm a cow. That's under the illusion they're in. And and imperfect senses. Yeah, they can't understand things in the proper way through their senses either, just like us. You know, we look at the sun, and through our eyes, it tells us about the size of 50-cent piece. So that's imperfect senses. So that they have the same imperfect senses like that. Cheating propensity, I don't think, yeah, I don't know about cheating propensity. That might not really fit with the non-humans, you know, having a cheating propensity. But yeah, the other ones, yeah, the other ones. Okay.
Yeah,
So there
right.
was something else I wanted to mention. Yeah. So he said that why have these, if they're not actually philosophers and scientists, why are they posing as scientists and philosophers? So Prabhupada said it's for material gain. So these people, they're posing as very intelligent, but they're doing that not because they're intelligent, but because they want to make money out of it. They want to make it. So that's why I brought up cheating propensity. So that's that defect coming through, that they're just cheating just for some material benefit, like that. Telling us all kind of, you know, ignorant lies, but professing that it's the truth and everything like that. And it's just cheating. It's just cheating. And then finally, he makes a very interesting a statement that because material energy nature is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plans of the atheists and baffle the knowledge of the planning commissions. It's a very interesting. Prabhupada's come up with that term, planning commissions, because that's what atheistic people do. They get together. Atheistic people get together and make big elaborate plans how we're going to overcome the material energy. We're going to conquer the material world, isn't it? We're going to control nature. You know, we're going to come up with this government and this enterprise and everything, this commission, how we can control nature. Like now, you know, they have what do they call it? Not weather control. There's another term they have.
Not AI.
Well, that's the artificial intelligence. Yeah, they trying to manipulate things by creating artificial intelligence also, but they even try to control the climate. They even try to control the weather. So there's a particular term they have for that. Geoengineering. Yeah, that's what they call it. Geoengineering. So they come up with all these terms, these planning commissions. Oh, this is the geoengineering, where we can control, we can stop the rain or make more rain come or block out the sun. And did you hear one of Bill Gates' latest brilliant ideas? Is that he has an idea to block out the sun. Because he's worried about
UV layer.
Well, about the UV, about, you know, global warming, right? Yeah. That it's going to get, the planet's going to get too hot and that's going to melt the icebergs and everything. So here's an idea to create like a big blanket sort of thing, you know, try to block out the sun. I mean, the guy's just a nutcase, you know, fully. If that's not a nutcase, I don't know what a nutcase is. But, you know, he wants to block out the sun. So he's trying to play God, you know, he's got these big plans and, but like it's saying here, the unauthorized. So the authorized plans are what God's plan. That's authorized, you know. What God wants, that's the authorized plan. Anyone else's plan is not authorized, you know, unless God has said, yes, I want this. And the devotee's plans are also authorized, because what a devotee wants to do is what God wants to do. You know, he knows, he's tuned in with God's plan. So the devotee's tuned in with God's plan, and that's what he wants to do. Like when Lord Chaitanya came to this earth, he said, Prativetiyachi Nagaradigram Savatsa Pracha Hoi Bimoranam. So what that means is, as many towns and villages there are in the world, on the surface of the earth, that I want my holy name to be heard in those places. So he wanted the Lord's holy names to be propagated and chanted everywhere, every town and village. So Prabhupada, what has he done? He's gone all over the world, you know, pretty much nearly every town and village, all the big places. he's gone and propagated the holy name of the Lord. So that's the Lord's plan, and the devotee is trying to carry out the Lord's plan. So that's authorized, so that is more chance that it's going to be successful, because you're in tune with what God wants with the authorized plan. But if you're going against what God wants, then good luck. It's just going to be defeated. It's going to end up in frustration and defeat. Like Ravana, going back in time, Ravana, he wanted to build a staircase to heaven between the earth and heaven. He wanted to build like a physical staircase to heaven, so that people wouldn't have to do pious activities to try to please the Lord and the demigods and go to heaven that way. So to bypass having to do pious activities to go to heaven, he had the idea that you could just physically walk there and bypass all those sort of rules and regulations and everything like that. But before he could fulfill his plan, something happened that he hadn't planned on. What happened to him before he could fulfill his desire, fulfill his plan?
He died before.
He died.
Yeah.
Because Lord Ram fired an arrow in his heart, in his chest.
We playing the play in 2nd of April in part of the Ramayana in the temple. So my role is I'm a Vibhishan.
Oh, very good. Devotee.
There's a devotee of Lord Rama, and because of that, I have to tell him how do you conquer him, because Lord Rama was killing that, and his new head comes up because he has got the what's he called, the exile on his navel, we call the excellent, what do you call that, elixir in his navel there. Amrit, you have to destroy that, otherwise he's gonna keep coming. Yes. So that's my job to tell Lord Rama.
Okay.
So it's we playing that. We got a costume arrived. We have to have a costumes, and so it's all packed in the bag. So I'm gonna go and try this weekend. The costume we rehearsal for last 1 month. So it's gonna be happen there. I'll ask them to do a full that recording. I will send to you.
Oh, that'd be great. Please do. That'd be lovely to see that.
It's a Hanuman there. Sugriva is the Kala Prabhu is Sugriva, and and Hanuman and the Sena, like all the things here now. Proper way, Ramayana, we just doing that.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, Mahesh Prabhu will be Lord Rama's father. And
that's right.
Yeah, it's gotta become one by one, the Kumkaran and Indrajit, and trying to defeat it, and eventually it's a play. Yeah, so we plan it.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah. So that's what happens.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. See, I was in the altar.
He said you don't need initiation to go on the altar.
All right, okay.
Because
I was already in the altar.
Okay.
So
you got promoted to the Pujari status.
Oh yes, direct, because it's a Jagannath grace. Jagannath said, "You want to come to the altar? Here you go. You're on the altar."
Nice. Yeah,
it's wonderful. We did that Maha cleaning. It's a massive cleaning. Monday, Tuesday we painted, and then with kitchen cleaning and all that. Oh, there was a massive. This one guy, he has got a detailing business. He come with a van, all the chemical and all with the pressure hose. Oh, that is just, I don't know. I haven't seen that kind of cleaning in the temple ever. And then repaint that temple. Beautiful. We're all happy doing that. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's very good. Like I don't know if it's a heart clean or not, but temple is cleaned.
Definitely, the heart will become.
Heart is still dirty
by doing that. Oh, it'll get there. You'll get there. You'll get there. But this is the situation, that those people that don't surrender to God, they have so many plans. I'm going to be happy by this plan. I'm going to be happy by that plan. But the actual result is we're never successful. We just get frustrated. There's some verses about that. let's see if we can find them. I think one of them is in the 16th chapter. I think it's around 7. 16th chapter. 7, 8.
Those who are demonic do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness, nor proper behavior, nor truth is found in them. Is that?
Yeah. So yeah, there's no good outcome of a demoniac behavior. You're never going to know if you're not connected with God. You're never going to know what to do or what not to do. Generally, for a demoniac person, what they are doing, they actually shouldn't be doing, and what they don't do, that's what they should be doing. So it means their whole life is back to front. Their whole life is back to front. Like they should get up early in the morning, but they get up very late. And they should go to bed early, but they go to bed very late, so their whole life is back to front. They should be clean, but they're not. They're dirty like that.
It's like a ship without captain.
Yeah, it's just chaos.
Ship without captain, where they're gonna go? In
lots.
circles and circles and no direction, and they're thinking
lost.
they're getting somewhere, but they're not.
Yeah. So yeah, completely lost. And like we mentioned, there's no truth in them. So for a demonic person, even though they present themselves as a teacher, as a philosopher, as a scientist, but there's no truth. So that's why I'm very dubious and very doubtful of whatever the politicians say, because they're demons. So therefore, you're not going to find truth. You're not going to find truth. So whenever they say something, I take it as the opposite. I take it as the opposite of what they're saying. If they say, "Oh, this thing is very safe," I say, "No, it's not. It's very dangerous." If they say this virus is very dangerous, no, it's safe. It's the opposite. Their whole life is back to front.
But
So
back in olden days, like we can compare this politician to the olden days king. Is that correct? Like these days, there's no king. Of course, there's a democracy and politician. So back in those days, the king, there wasn't like that where the king's now. There was the difference. Like, Dwapar Yuga.
Well, I mean, they were God conscious. If you go back far enough before Kali Yuga began, then they were God conscious. Like Yudhisthira and Parikshit, his grandson, and like that. They were fully God conscious. So that's completely the opposite to our modern day leaders. So they knew what the plan of God was, and they went along with the plan of God. So they were successful. Whereas, like Prabhupada's pointing out in the purport we're reading today, they're baffled. Baffled means they're like blocked. They're blocked from achieving what they want to achieve. It's called they're baffled or frustrated. Another word is, they're frustrated. So they're baffled or frustrated. They make so many plans, but eventually we're all defeated. So the atheistic demons, they're all defeated with their plans, and they're not successful. And what's the ultimate defeat is that we die. Ultimate defeat is that we die. And then where we go, we don't have a clue where we're going. And then you have to start from zero all over again. You might be, have billions of dollars in the bank, but when you die, how much can you take with you?
Nothing, not even one needle.
Not even one needle. Yeah, it said there is one thing you take with you. Do you know what you take with you?
Your karma.
Yeah, you take your karma. So if you've done a lot of bad karma to make those billions of dollars, then you take all that with you. So you might not see the light of day for a long, long time, if you've done a lot of bad karma.
If you entire your life, you'll be in the business and all these things. And then time of the death, if you think you can chant Hare Krishna, it's not going to be possible. Because whatever you did whole entire your life, that's when it's going to come in that mouth.
Yeah.
If you entire your life do the chanting, of course, at the time of the death, you'll be chanting.
Yes. True. Okay, Bob, do you want
Yep.
to take up the next paragraph, please? So we're back to our 7:15.
The
And-
atheist plan makers.
1 sec.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Gita answers. Is that it?
No, it's the atheistic plan makers. So it's the next one. Next one. The atheistic plan makers.
Okay,
underneath
got
that.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, the atheistic plan makers are described herein by the word duskritana,
Duskritana.
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 or miscreants.
Yeah.
Kriti means one who has performed meritorious work. The atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious or meritorious.
Yeah.
Also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. But because these atheist brains is improperly utilised in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called a Daskriti, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected.
We'll just stop there for a moment. So yeah, this word duskritana, so Prabhupada's translated it into the English word miscreant. So, and then he's breaking it down. Dus and then kriti. So duskritana comes from two words, dus and kriti. So kriti means merit, one who's performed merit. Merit means like some very good thing, some very good thing. So what is the very good thing that we have that even the atheist has? What's the very good thing? Like I mentioned, we have a human body which has got a good brain, good intelligence. So that's the kriti that we have. If you're born in a human body, you've got kriti, you've got good merit, and that is you've got a good brain, good intelligence. But the dus, if you put dus in front of it, means bad. You know, so it's like bad intelligence. Bad intelligence. So you've got good intelligence, but you've misused it. So, you know, I can, like, for example, I could use my brain to save people's lives, you know, to help people live a healthier, longer life. But I could also use my brain to kill people. You know, I could use my brain, you know, like a human being, like, hey, Gulshan, it just came up on the screen that you muted Bob's screen.
No. How can I mute the Bob screen? Bob has to mute or unmute it.
But it mentioned that you did. Maybe you pushed the button by accident.
I think so, by accident. Bob, can you unmute it? If
Just
I can
have a
mute
look
it, then
with the
I can
speaker.
unmute it
There
too.
should be a speaker button. Just push the speaker button. There should be a speaker button. It's got like a, I don't know how to explain it, what it looks like.
Mataji, Ram Ram.
Krishna, Krishna.
That's what it looks
Radhe,
like.
Radhe, Radhe.
Bob, that's what it looks like. That's the speaker button. Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, you muted him, Gulshan.
If I mute it, I can unmute it too. Let me
You
try.
do it. You do it because you're the
I'll
one
just
that
take it as view profile, send message. No, it's
it just came up.
Yeah.
Gulshan muted Claire Archer. You know, so
no, how do I mute it? I don't
I
think
don't
so.
know.
Let me try mute Bhakti Mala, see if I can mute it. Oh yeah, Bhakti Mala I muted too.
Yeah,
I can,
Better?
oh, you
yeah,
unmuted.
that's it.
Bhakti Mala, you unmuted too.
But I can unmute it. You can. Oh yeah, Bob's unmuted.
Bob did it. Yeah. Bob looked very tension.
See, Gulshan is a duskritana. See what a duskritana is. He's misused his
He's always
intelligence.
been a rascal.
Rascal.
Yes.
Rascaldom.
That's my middle
Yeah,
name.
so So we've got good merit in that we have this wonderful human life, which has got very good intelligence, which can do very good things. And the best thing we can do is to get liberated and go back to Godhead and help others to also go back to Godhead. That's the best, highest merit. But we have free choice. So we can misuse that good intelligence for very bad things, to be lying and cheating and stealing and raping and killing and so many things, and propagating atheism, teaching all wrong things to people, so that's what's mentioned here. So yeah, it's not automatic. You have a very good opportunity, but it's not automatic that you're going to be able to use it for the best purpose. So we have to make an effort. It's not automatic that you're going to become Krishna conscious. You have to work hard to get it. It's not automatic. So yeah, you're born with a body that's got good intelligence, but yeah, it's up to you whether you're going to use it for that purpose. It can easily go the other way. So be careful. Be careful how you use this life. It's said that actually there's a verse saying that a human life is like a razor's edge. Just like when a man shaves, he has to be very careful and concentrate on what he's doing, because if you space out, if you don't focus when you're shaving, you can easily do what can easily happen? Cut. You can easily get cut, so if you don't concentrate. And like sometimes Jayanti's shaving around my Sika.
Sometime? Always? What do you mean sometime? That's what she always does.
Well, I mean, I'm not doing it every day, so I mean, it's like sometimes.
Okay. Whenever she does.
So, and I just tell her, just be careful, concentrate, because sometimes she just talks about something, and she's not careful, and and then she says, "Sorry, I just cut you."
No. Do you think she's innocent? She don't miss a chance. Whenever she get a chance, she will earn that.
So yeah, human life's like that. It's like holding a razor. You can be very good, but also if you're not careful, you can hurt, not only hurt yourself, but you can hurt others too. So be very careful. And okay, let's continue. Bhakti Mala, you want to read the next one in the Gita? It is clearly.
Because I went away, I don't know where we are.
I'll read that.
Oh, we're about fourth paragraph into the purport.
Oh, in the Gita, it is clearly mentioned that this.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the Gita, it is clearly mentioned that material energy works fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It has no independent authority. It works as the shadow moves in accordance with the movements of the object. But still, material energy is very powerful, and the atheist, due to his godless temperament, cannot know how it works, nor can he know the plan of the Supreme Lord. Under illusion and the mode of passion and ignorance, all his plans are baffled, as in the case of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, whose plans were smashed to dust, although they were both materially learned as scientists, philosophers, administrators, and educators. These Duskirtinas, or miscreants, are of 4 different patterns as outlined below.
So Maya, or this material energy, it doesn't have any independence. It only works under the control of God. It only works under the control of God. So even though it can't exist by itself. The Maya, or material energy, can't exist by itself. It exists only as an energy of God. But even so, it's very powerful, more powerful than us. Because we spirit souls, we're also an energy, just like Maya. Maya is the material energy, is an energy like us. and we are also under the control of God, and we also can't exist independently from God. But that's the illusion, that we think that we can exist independently from God. But although Maya is an energy like us, but more powerful than us, it's more powerful than us, but we're both energies, both this individual soul and Maya are both energies. And everything's under the control of the Lord. But Maya is more powerful than us. Therefore, if you want to get free from Maya, what do you have to do?
We have to surrender to Krishna, because that's Krishna's energy. There's no other way.
That's Krishna's energy. Yeah.
Yes,
So
no
Maya is more powerful than us, but Maya is not more powerful than Krishna, because it's Krishna's energy. So if you want to overcome or get free from Maya, the only way out is to surrender to Krishna, like that. So yeah, the atheist, because the atheist doesn't understand God, so also the atheist doesn't understand Maya. You get it? Because the atheist doesn't understand God, also that's going to mean is that they don't know how the material energy works. They don't know how the material energy works. So they don't know how to get out of Maya. And then it's mentioning examples like Hiranyakashipu and Ravana. They were constantly, trying to overpower Maya, but in their end result was they got defeated by Maya. But whereas a devotee understands how Maya works, and then surrenders.
And we can conquer the Maya.
Yeah, we can conquer the Maya.
Only one way.
Of course,
surrender.
Only by Krishna's mercy, by Krishna's grace. Of course, we separately, we can't conquer Maya, but by Krishna's grace, we actually can conquer Maya. Yeah. No, I think that's...
How do you know, are you in the Maya or you're not in the Maya? Give me some example.
One time, actually, my spiritual master, when he was a young brahmachari, he said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, sometimes I feel like I'm in Maya. And Prabhupada said to him, you're always in Maya. So it's actually not that easy to get free from Maya. And he also mentioned one time that what did he say? I was just trying, I don't want to say the wrong thing. One time he said...
You only can say wrong thing if you're in Maya. Otherwise, if you're not in Maya,
no, I don't want to misquote something that Prabhupada didn't say. I want to try to remember what Prabhupada said. He said, sometimes, what did he say? Sometimes it's not that we've fallen into Maya. Oh yeah, he said, yeah, you're always in Maya, and sometimes you fall into Krishna consciousness. So it's not that you're Krishna conscious and you fall into Maya, but it's that you're always in Maya and you fall into Krishna consciousness. So he's just saying that to help us realize that it's not that easy to get out of Maya. Yeah. It's not that easy. Oh, I joined the ISKCON, I joined the Hare Krishna movement, I'm out of Maya now. It's not quite so easy as that. Of course, if you are 24/7 engaged in Krishna consciousness, then you would. But generally, we're not able to do, every single moment of every single day in Krishna consciousness. And, so it's not so easy. But however, that definitely Krishna consciousness is very powerful. And definitely that by surrender to Krishna can get us out of Maya. But yeah, we have to apply ourselves very seriously and very sincerely, because as we've mentioned, if you if you do the devotional service with material desires, then Krishna may fulfill those desires. So if you're chanting Hare Krishna, but you're thinking about enjoying with money and women, then you've attracted Krishna by chanting the holy name, but then you don't actually want to serve him. You want money and women. So
it won't call you a bhakti. Bhakti is
that?
unconditional. It won't call you bhakti then. Bhakti is unconditional. If you put the condition in it, there's no bhakti.
Well, it's supposed to be unmotivated and uninterrupted. Yeah. So there's supposed to be two criteria to bhakti. That one is that it's unmotivated. It means there's no material desires. It's not motivated by some material desires. And the other one is uninterrupted. It's supposed to be, like every day and as much time as possible every day. But if you're chanting or doing your pujari service or whatever with a material desire, Krishna, please, please give me this money or give me this person or help me to become rich and famous or whatever like that. So if you have some material desires, that's the reason why you're doing your bhakti, then that's contaminating it. And then Krishna may give you that. Krishna may fulfill that desire. And that happened with Dhruva Maharaj, right? He approached Krishna, he surrendered to Krishna, but he had a desire that he wanted a big kingdom. He wanted a big kingdom, bigger than his father. And eventually, because he was doing devotional service, eventually Lord Narayan came. But Lord Narayan knew that he had this desire, so he said, okay, you can have a big kingdom. And Dhruva said that, now that I'm seeing you, my Lord, now I don't have any more desires. I'm satisfied. But the Lord said, no, you had this, now you don't have any desires. Yeah. But before you did. So I'm going to fulfill those desires that you had before. So that was the lesson in that story. Try not to do your devotional service with material desires. However, it's recommended that you should do devotional service if you are free from material desires. That's one category. If you are full of material desires, you should do devotional service. And if you desire liberation, you should do devotional service. So there's three kinds of people, right? You don't have any material desires. That's pure devotee. You have lots of material desires. That's like a materialistic person. And then you desire liberation. That's like a jnani, a mental speculator, wants to get liberation. So those three different categories, it's said that all of them should do devotional service, because that whatever way you're starting out, if you just do devotional service by Krishna's grace, then you're going to get purified. You're going to get purified. So don't worry that, I've got material desires in my heart when I'm doing devotional service, I better not do it anymore. No, don't stop. No, keep doing it. Like it said that if you're chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you may be committing offences called aparad, nama aparad. But what is the solution for nama aparad? Do you think that, I'm making offences to the holy name, I better not chant anymore because I'm making offences? No, that's not what you should do. You should chant more. You should chant more and keep chanting, even though you're making offences. Keep chanting. And then the idea is that just by the power of the holy name, eventually you'll be able to overcome those offences. And there's 10 offences to chanting the holy name. So the recommendation is just to keep chanting. And then by the mercy of Krishna, and of course you've got to keep trying your best to stop making the offences. And that's why we're supposed to learn what the 10 offenses are, so we know what to look out for. So we can know that, okay, the first offense says to blaspheme devotees, who dedicate their lives to propagating the holy name of the Lord. So next time you go to blaspheme a devotee who is, spreading Krishna's glories, you'll think twice about doing it, and then you stop it. So you're supposed to know what the offenses are and try to stop. However, even if you haven't managed to stop all of the offenses, just keep chanting, and then by the power of the holy name, slowly, you'll be able to become a pure chanter of the holy name.
What does blaspheme really mean? Because there are so many devotees who are spreading the holy name and propagating Krishna consciousness.
Can I sit here?
No, it's okay. However, there are some things that they have done which is very wrong, and they've continued to doing things which are wrong. So what does blaspheme really mean?
Yeah, if you're criticizing a devotee for some faults, whether the faults are there or not there, that different cases. But if you're criticizing them, but then by you criticizing that devotee, is it helping that devotee? Is it helping him to get out of that, even if he has made some mistake? Or are you just criticizing because it makes you feel better? Or what's the benefit of you doing that? If there is some benefit, like, see, when you could do that is like, if you're a senior to that devotee has some faults, you're senior to them, and they might listen to you and correct themselves, then you tell them. But if they are senior to you, and you're not able to help them to improve, then what's the point? What's the point? Or by you criticizing, are you helping other people? There has to be some benefit somewhere. Either the devotee has to benefit by you criticizing, or other devotees are benefiting because you're warning them of some bad behavior or something like that. So there has to be some good result out of it. If you're just criticizing and there's no good result to me, and there's no good result to the person I'm criticizing, and there's no good result to the other people that are hearing my criticism, then what's the point? Then it becomes an offense. Then it becomes an offense. But if everyone benefits, well, then no, that's all right. But if there's no benefit, if you're just doing it, for criticizing for the sake of doing it, just fault finding because you like finding faults. I'll give you an example of one criticism, that there was a person named, what was his name? I'll see if I can remember his name. Puri, something, Ramachandra Puri. Ramachandra Puri, this is 500 years ago with Lord Chaitanya. He walked into the room that Lord Chaitanya stayed in, and he saw some ants on the floor. And he started criticizing Lord Chaitanya. Just see what kind of sannyasi is Lord Chaitanya. He's secretly eating sweets. Do you know how I know that he's secretly eating sweets? Because there's a line of ants in the room. Aha! Ants means he's eating sweets. So... But no, that's nonsense. Just because, there's ants all over this place, and it's not just because there's sugar in the house, so it's just a lot of ants. So like that, and what was the point of that? What was the value of that? It was just that he was enjoying, it was like sense gratification for him, criticizing another devotee and trying to make himself feel better, by putting someone else down. So if that's the reason why we're doing it, putting someone else down because it makes us feel better or whatever, then that's definitely an offense. So like we have to be, once again, motivation, right? What's the motivation? Why are you blaspheming it? You blaspheming the person because you want to help them? I just heard some feedback. Let's hope it doesn't continue. like last week. Oh, and it stopped. That's all right. So does that answer your question?
It's the echoing sound.
Oh, it's echoing again. Okay, I think it's like last week. Let's sign off and sign back in again. We've only got another 5 minutes anyway. So just sign off, sign back in.
I